Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and of course, it's time for your Premier League review. It's Thursday, so it is that time. My apologies, a little bit later than normal, but we had to just move some stuff around to make sure we got people on. Adam from the United Stand will be joining us a little bit later. He's just finishing up a video over on his channel or on the United Stand, and then he's going to come on over and give us the lowdown on everything Manchester United. So we will leave the Manchester United Leeds chat for now, but I mean, it's the only game that's worth watching this weekend, I think. Let's be honest. But before we get into the video and, of course, the Premier League for the weekend, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and, of course, subscribe to the rest of the boys' channels that are in the description as well. So you've got Corey at the West Ham Way, Matt at the Matt Hayes Tottenham blog, and then, of course, Oscar at All Leeds TV. Yeah, and then Matt, I've put his channel on. I think it's Adam Matic, I think. I don't know. Yeah, Adam Matic. So make sure you check him out. He'll be here in a bit anyway. But yeah, let's just ask how everyone is, first of all. Corey, how you doing, mate? All right?
Good, mate. Knackered, but we roll.
Yeah,
That's part of the job, innit? Come on, do before the whistle blows and we talk about football. So, mate, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, your dedication to the cause doesn't go unnoticed. Not like Matt, who has decided now when Spurs lose that he's got a job that he has to do on Monday now, apparently. So, Matt,
we've lost 3 games in a row, Joe. And I'm sitting here to face this crap ahead of going to the Etihad. All right? Don't question my commitment. But it is always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be on with you, lads.
Good stuff, mate. That is. We will get into Spurs because I want to get your thoughts of where you're at, because it has sort of like gone... Boom. Oscar, how are you, mate? You must be excited for the weekend, bro. Only 48 hours now.
Buzzing for it. It's one of them, isn't it? I think obviously, after the Everton game, I think we're all a little bit worried about this game. But you know what? I think we said it on Monday. I'm starting to feel all right about this game. I'm starting to feel up for it again. Absolutely 100%. Full crowd. Absolutely, it's just going to make it hostile as we can, aren't we, against them? And I still think they're weak, Man United, and I still think we can get at them. Totally think we can get them. I'm not too concerned to beat Brighton.
Right, well, we will leave the Man United chat for when Adam gets here, just to get his opinion.
I want to talk about it now.
I know. I get it.
It's like Christmas Day for you, isn't it?
I want to hear from Adam as well, whether or not he's as hyped about the game as we are. Do you know what I mean? Because some might say, it's not really a rivalry, especially these ones that don't go to the games, because as we know, Manchester United regularly sing "We All Hate Leeds" scum, so it's still a thing. But I just want to see Adam's thoughts, because I think he's got a season ticket as well. I've seen from his Twitter profile, so we'll see what the crack is. But let's start with Saturday's early kickoff, actually, and what better place to start than, of course, Corey. West Ham, mate, versus Newcastle. Newcastle 3 wins on the bounce now after they beat Leeds. We sort of give them a leg up, mate, and now they're flying. Obviously, your man Trippier is a massive miss. I think he broke a bone in his
metatarsal, apparently. Yeah.
Right. Okay. How are your thoughts ahead of this one, mate?
I am treating it with trepidation, because I've seen teams come to West Ham this season and they present us with an issue that we struggle to break down on, essentially. And look, Leicester's performance was a little bit, like we said on Monday, a bit sporadic. There was 30 minutes of good play off the ball, and then thereafter fatigue played, and even your bankers in Creswell and Soufal looked weak. And I spoke about it, that right-hand side for us, if Saint-Maximin is up for it, and I've seen him up for it every single time he's played West Ham, then we've got a problem. So, again, it is what it is. It's a team that's going to sit deep, trying to counter-attack on us, and we've got to be able to manage it. I just need to see more. I need to see more from our attackers, genuinely, in terms of that front four. And I'm not too bothered about who the attacking midfield 3 are, but I think there's a conversation that Bowen could play as that false 9, and maybe he gives us just a little bit more movement than Antonio is at the minute. So I've just done my preview. I would like to see it at least, but like I say, if you play to Bowen like you played to Antonio, it won't work. So I'm going to have to see something almost completely different. But West Ham have got the quality.
So you want Antonio dropping, like, or?
Well, I think he just needs to be. The problem is, I say this all the time, we're so reliant on everything being built through him. And it's not just him holding the ball up. It's even him running to that left-hand side because he's formerly a winger and stretching the play and creating space for the others. And it's almost like when he's not performing or he's not retaining the ball, The others, apart from maybe Jarrod Bowen, aren't really sure what to do off it. And so I just feel that Bowen will give us a bit more energy if Antonio's knackered. If he's not and Antonio's fine, this is a different conversation. If you're telling me it's Mickey from the first 2 months of the season, a no-brainer, he absolutely has to start. He's a star man. But I just think if you're going to sit against a deep team and Antonio is literally, we're playing to him, long balls, aerial duels with Dan Burn, it won't work. We might as well just not bother. So I'm going to have to see something different. I don't think I will. I think I'll see exactly what I saw the previous times, but I'm still hopeful. We've still got more than enough to win. And I think we do need to get the 3 points, if I'm honest.
Yeah, what do you think's happened to? Because obviously we did team of the season so far when we've had international breaks, and I think in both the two that we did, he was the man leading the line, and now he'd be nowhere near it, would he? So what do you put it down to, mate?
I think it sounds super simplistic, but I do think it's fatigue. You look at Antonio, actually, through his career, he's always had hamstring injuries. So going into the season or the past 3 transfer windows with a player that has niggly injuries, you don't expect him to play as regularly. Credit to whatever the medical staff have done, has still been fit consistently throughout the season, other than COVID. So he's been available, but the sheer amount of games and the pressure and probably the lack of competition as well, it all bundles into one. And I saw him against Palace when he was off from COVID and he came back. Looked the same Antonio that I saw for the first month or so. And for me, it's fatigue. West Ham should have got a striker, at least just to take the pressure off him. Because when he's fit, like you saw earlier in the season, he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare to deal with. It's just, unfortunately, it's just energy and it's just lack of options behind him.
Yeah. And so what do you think you win on the week? Actually, I feel that Newcastle have properly turned the corner now. Like 3 wins on the bounce. And would you be happy with the draw? No, you can't be, can you?
No.
You can't be.
No. This is the thing. This is the thing. When you're in the position that we're in, you cannot look at games like this and say we'll be happy with a draw. There has to be the expectation. And the players themselves this season have had to learn. West Ham were a counter-attacking team last year. We've had to learn how to try and break teams down. So that's the pressure that comes with it. And we need 3 points. If we come away with any less, then I'll be frustrated. It'll be a missed opportunity.
Is Zuma out now as well?
I think he'll come back in. I think I'm not sure what the actual situation was in terms of hearsay. I thought it was an injury, and then apparently it's nausea. So I think for all intents and purposes he'll come back in. But Diop did well when he played, so maybe Moyes will feel comfortable in just leaving him out a bit longer.
Right, okay, cool. Adam's joined us. Thank you very much, mate. I know you've been doing a video over on the United stand and now you've jumped straight across here. So thanks for doing that. How are you, mate? All right?
Yeah, been better, mate. A lot of crap coming out regarding our situation tonight. So, yeah, usual spiel with United at the moment. But, yeah, other than that, looking forward to the weekend.
Good. We will get to that in a sec. We were just chatting about West Ham Newcastle, but we will get to Manchester United
game,
just to say. Yeah, definitely. Oscar, thoughts on West Ham Newcastle? Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, it's that Trippier injury, isn't it? Really, that's a big one. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, West Ham, Ben Rama's been a bit out of form, but I'm not sure who'd come in for Newcastle. Probably Kraft. Again, massive drop off in quality. I think it'll be a good game though. I think it'll be pretty end to end. Both teams. I think Newcastle are a bit more attack-minded under Howe. West Ham have got to win the game. I can see what Corey's saying, though, in terms of obviously dropping Antonio, but I just think the lack of natural out-and-out striker is massively hurting West Ham now because you can put Bowen in there. I've no doubt Bowen can play where Antonio does, but then you've got nothing from the right all of a sudden to create chances for Bowen. So it's a difficult one, and I think it's really poor squad building from West Ham. In all honesty, I think January they've made big mistakes, not really strengthening in certain positions, if we're being totally honest. Because you've got to think as well, Europa League as well, still in the Cup, aren't you, Corey? You get really even more stretched when those games come about, and then you've got the final stretch of the season. It's a big test for West Ham. They've got to win this game. I'll go as far to say is if West Ham don't win this game, Corey might disagree with me here, I think top four's over for West Ham. I genuinely do if they don't win this game.
What are you saying, Corey?
Fair shout. I don't even feel like we're in it now. I know people say we are, but I've said this for a long time now. We've obviously played 25 games, and Arsenal have played 22, and Spurs have had games in hand. I can't tell the table really as to where we are as a team, and with Wolves behind us, I'm not sure.
No one wants it, bro. No one wants top 4. No one.
It's so odd.
It seems. Do you know what I mean?
Well, these are all actionable things. If we had squad depth, then maybe we'd be sitting here saying something completely different. So, the opportunity was there. I wouldn't say we're completely out of it, but even now, I think it's more of a question of West Ham getting Europa League as opposed to Champions League.
Yeah. And that's the thing, innit? We was talking about it a couple of weeks ago. I think for you now, and it's mad to think how far West Ham have come, but if you were to end the season like in 8th, like that would be.
I'd be disappointed.
Brutal, man.
Minimum 7th for me, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it will depend. I mean, I don't know whether we'll get to the cup competitions and feel that as a club, as fans, that we want to just go for it in the Europa League or the FA Cup, and if we finish 8th, then fine. If we go into a final, but it's if buts and maybes. If we get knocked out of both of those competitions, maybe we get a bit more of a reprieve. We get a week off and we start building again. So.
Does Moyes hold any of the blame, mate, for his failure to rotate? Just knowing, obviously, Leeds, I'm not saying I watch it as often as you, obviously I don't, but when we played you twice, we played you in the FA Cup, we played you in the league, you put the same side out. Do you know what I mean? Do you think there's a little bit of that with all the competitions you're in?
Before the season, I would have said no, but then having watched West Ham my entire life and not taking these competitions seriously and being able to see us actually take them seriously for once is quite nice. So I would say... I don't think you should take the blame. I think it's probably a little bit more deep-seated. It's just squad depth. And Moyes is a manager that if he doesn't trust these options, he just won't play them. West Ham have got to get the balance of having a subs bench that he's happy to bring on. And at the minute, we're not in that happy place. So hence why we're getting knackered on the 3rd game of the week.
Yeah, I think you'll draw me, mate, and I know that's not gonna.
Oh, you're the mystic man as well. Don't say that.
Don't say
You've
that,
done it now, mate.
No, because I'm not confident for Sunday's game. So if I'm gonna be right, then, you know what I mean? I don't fancy that. Matt, let's talk to you, mate, because obviously just while we're on the top 4 sort of chitter chatter, we've been speaking for a few weeks and saying how. Spurs with the team. It felt like that we're gonna get top 4, and now I think for first time in Conte's career, he's lost 3 on the bounce, like ever. Do you know what I mean? So I'm probably going to be 4 on Saturday. So what's going on?
There's 2 things I want to say first of all in reply to that, Joe. Ye have been saying Tottenham have been the team for top 4. I've said all along, and you cannot deny this, that we were never getting near that top 4. We were never the team to get that.
You changed your tune. I
did not. I said we were not getting top 4.
Hang on a second. First game of the Conte, you were comparing Ben Davies to Bastoni.
Well, let's not do this.
He is not the level of... Ben Davies is not that level, man.
For everyone who did not see that show, I said Davis was playing the role that Bastoni played at Inter Milan last season. I never, ever compared their quality. And I also want to say, Antonio Conte, it's the first time since 2009 that he's lost 3 games in a row in the league. It was with Atalanta in 2009. Now, when City batter us on Saturday, it'll be the first time that we've lost 4 in a row since 2004. So who's broken who? You tell me that. Now, Tottenham are useless. Okay. Tottenham are absolutely rubbish. And it started when the transfer window closed. And there is absolutely no coincidence in that. And there's absolutely no other reason. There are players in that team like Davinson Sanchez, like Harry Winks, like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, like Ben Davis, who were fighting for their position in that team because they knew just how bad they were in the opening part of the season under Nuno Espirito Santo. And as soon as we failed to get players in their positions to improve on this squad, and with them with injuries as well, they're right up the top of the list we need. They gave up. They stopped. They didn't care. And up until the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season, when we start looking towards planning for that summer window, I can guarantee they'll start playing again, and I can guarantee that they'll start to get us wins again. We've been absolutely abysmal in these last couple of games. I went into that game against Southampton last Wednesday. It was the most excited I've been for a Spurs game because of how positive we've been going and because of how well we've been doing. Aside from defeats to Chelsea, we hadn't lost under Antonio Conte. And we went into that, we were 2-1 up, and then the worst part... Joe, shut up. The worst part
Sorry, you're playing Southampton like...
Yeah, well, I was actually excited to watch Spurs, though. I was actually expecting us to win and expecting us to play well and expecting us to score goals, but we lose the game because we gave James Ward-Prowse space in his perfect position, that inside right channel, twice in the last 10 minutes, and he was able to go and score the goal. But did we learn from that? We didn't, because twice in the first 15 minutes against Wolves, we gave that exact same space to Ruben Neves. And the absolute incompetence, inattention to detail, and sheer lack of any bit of desire in that defence is the reason that it was never going to go well for us. We were never going to get that top four. We're starting to see now on the football pitch what Antonio Conte has been telling us this squad has been for the last 4 months. We're rubbish. It's rubbish.
Do you know what, though, Matt? I vaguely remember, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the guys might back you. You said you had a good window, right? Because you were up here, you brought in Bentancur, Kulusevski, and you're like, all right, okay, we're doing all right, we're winning games, and now all of a sudden, some losses, and it was a bad window. And I personally felt it was a poor window anyway, but I know at the time you were happy with it.
I think what I said was the business that we did get done was good, but the business that we didn't get done would cost us. Because we needed a centre-back and we needed a right wing-back. The bits that we did do, I maintain that. They were good bits of business. Bentancur looks an incredible player. He's got that bit of flair. He's got that balance. He's got that ability to actually play the ball forward. If Son hadn't been off his game against Wolves on Sunday, we'd be talking about Bentancur's first assist from what is a deeper lying midfield position than what he's used to at Juventus. But Emerson Royal has the defensive acumen of a grape. Like, his positioning is so woeful. The 4 goals that we conceded, the last 4 goals we've conceded, 3 of them you can put on him for not marking his man, for not organising the defence from the back post when he can see everything, not telling Davinson Sanchez who's on his shoulder. And going forward, he's even worse. Which again begs the question, why do we want Adama Traore? What we're lacking in right wing back is end product and good defensive awareness. But look, we all could have told you this was going to happen when we didn't get that right wing back, even if it hadn't been. Adama, we needed a right back. We needed a left centre back, and we're planning for this big summer transfer window. Conte's going to get his money. The club are going to match his ambition. But like I've always said, how can we do that when we're not going to be in the Champions League?
It's BS anyway, isn't it? And are you worried about Conte doing one, mate, before the season's done?
No. If he's going to, he'll wait until the window goes wrong.
You think?
Yeah. No, there's no reason in him, coming in, taking the job in November and having one iffy window and seeing through the most majority of the season. If he's been promised this in the transfer window, he might as well see if Tottenham stay true to that promise.
Yeah.
I think when this relationship does eventually end, it will be Conte that does it. I can never see Spurs sacking him, but it's not an immediate issue, despite what he had to say in the press yesterday.
Do you not think, though, Matt, that squad is just so far off now? So far off even getting to where they were under Poch, never mind competing one day with City and Liverpool. Like, I'm looking at... I've not talked about Kane a lot, but Kane is just an absolute shadow. He's an absolute shadow of what he was, if we're being totally honest. I don't think you can just call it bad form now. I think he's just genuinely... I don't know, physically, I just don't think he's at it anymore, if I'm being totally honest. And then you look at that going forward, then it kind of only leaves you as Son as probably one outstanding player in those forward areas. It just feels like Spurs are a million miles off being anything at this moment in time, as good as Conte is.
Well, look, having said that, Kane was the best player in the pitch against Wolves. He was looking to create stuff. He was getting on the ball. He was getting his head up. He had a few chances. Well, I mean, I didn't see the game, but every Spurs fan is saying that that he was.
No, to be fair, I do.
Every Spurs fan is saying that though.
I think Kane's looked better under Conte. That's my opinion. I just think it's the defensively is the problems that you look at the Wolves game. They are just defensive errors. So irrespective of how poor Spurs are, and maybe they can't create, and maybe they can't control the midfield. If they finish that game 0-0, then maybe Tottenham feel a little that they've halted the slide of the 3 game losses and they just move on. But it comes back to it, doesn't it? He's like, for me, Conte just strikes me as a man that just didn't understand the magnitude or isn't used to the magnitude of task that he's got ahead of him. And Levy seems to think that he's communicated that across to him. And every single interview that Conte does just smacks of he's so unhappy already. And I can't see this ending well, and I can't see it lasting for that long. I don't even see him seeing out the 18 months. I've got to be honest. I think he gets to the summer and he bounces after a couple of months because he's not going to get what he wants, and he needs so much.
The worst thing about him, he's not used to this situation. Like in terms of budget, in terms of the quality of squad, dealing with the board, everything. He's not used to this sort of situation. And as much as I think he underestimated it initially, I think he's over exaggerating it at the moment. I mean, he spoke to Sky Sports yesterday and said we're not competing with City and Chelsea, which is true. But then he said we're competing with Newcastle, Brighton, Aston Villa, Everton. I mean, like we're ahead of that level. We are ahead of that level. Like it's ridiculous for him to come out and say that.
2 months.
Brighton. With Brighton, he said Brighton.
That was the teams he listed. He said Newcastle, Brighton, Villa, Everton, Leicester, which I mean is fair enough.
It's a cry for help. That's the cry for help.
No, I don't know.
Brighton, though. Like I could you sort of understand Villa because of the money, not in terms of where they are now. But I'm like, well, you Villa, Newcastle, yeah, they're rich, but Brighton,
yeah.
How does that make you feel, Matt?
How do you think it makes me feel, Joe?
Only imagine David, the Irish Hotspurs' reaction to that, like getting compared to Brighton.
Yeah. Look, he still thinks we're getting top 4.
Really?
Yeah. If I can even have half the optimism that David has, I'll be the happiest man on earth. But yeah, Spurs.
How many do you lose by Saturday evening?
Well, I was on a Spurs podcast last night, and when I'm on Spurs shows, I think as we all do, I try to be a bit optimistic. I give the kind of best case scenario that I can see, and I said 4-0 to Man City.
Dear me.
Does anyone, Adam? What about you? Do you see Spurs maybe causing an upset at all, or do you just can't see anyone beating City right now?
No. City have just obliterated the league. They're done and dusted, and you know how much that pains me to say that. It's horrendous, but you can't ignore what you're watching, and they're on a different planet right now. It doesn't matter who they play. They're just so well drilled in every single department. Everyone who comes off the bench plays exactly the same way as everyone who comes off the pitch, and it's hard to get that, but they are different class right now, and. Yeah, Spurs may be able to hold out for a bit. I mean, they did well against Liverpool when that all came around, but losing 3 games in a row, the morale will be down for Spurs. You can't go into a City game in that type of mindset. And for me, it will be damage limitations from the first minute for Spurs in that game. I think City will just bombard them and pass them off the pitch. And I don't see anyone causing a threat to City at all. It's like I don't want to talk about them. I'll be honest, it's horrible. It's hanging, but you can't ignore what you're watching on the pitch. They're on a different planet to everyone else in the world. They're the best team in the world, and it's painful. It's what it is. It's painful, but no one can deny what they are and how good they are. It's just how many. If you can catch them on that one day. But usually when they have decent teams or the teams that are up and around them come to town, they step up another level, City. And I think it's right. It is at the Etihad as well, this game, wasn't it? Because you played them first game of the season, didn't you, at the Tottenham Stadium? So, no, I can't see Spurs, especially at the Etihad, getting anything out of the game at all. I think I'd probably go along with that scoreline, actually. 3-4-0 to City. I think that's what will come away. And Spurs losing that before in a row then. That is a record for Conte that he didn't want. And it's going to be a hard one to take. I'd be glad if he goes and leaves Spurs and jumps across to Old Trafford. I'd take him in a heartbeat. Because one thing
he'll take Poch, and how you do this.
He'll get money. But yeah, no, it is a tough job. I understand the Spurs issue. I really do. The players are just nowhere near good enough for Antonio Conte to work what he needs to work. It's just nowhere. And the competition in the Premier League is different to every other league in the world. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean, you can go to Inter Milan and kill Serie A. Yeah, you could probably make a go of it with any team in Serie A if you're given a bit of funds. But he was given everything by Inter Milan to a point where the club nearly had to sell everything again just to recoup all that back. So he gets what he wants when he goes to clubs. He's not going to get that at Spurs. And let's be honest, they're not the best team set up to compete right now. What is his target coming to Spurs? What is his goal before he leaves? He's not going to win the league. And for an elite manager like Conte, I found it amazing that he went to Spurs because I just didn't see him competing at the highest level. I think he probably got a shock how good the likes of City and Liverpool and how far ahead they are than everyone else. He's fighting for top 4, and that will be his ceiling while he's at Spurs in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Just so why I sort of agree with you there. The point you made there, Matt. Why Didn't Man United take him?
Why didn't Man United take him? Because we're stupid, that's why. And we're not run well. We're run by a bunch of bankers who always are too late to the party. Could have said it. We could have had Pep. We could have had Klopp. We could have had Poch when he was at his height. We could have had Conte because Solskjaer was having a disaster. We waited that week, and we all knew when we went to Spurs, whoever lost that game was probably going to need a new manager by the end of the day. And we beat Spurs, and that pretty much finished us off. And we were too late to the show again. I don't think we took Conte because he would have done what he's doing at Spurs now, and he would have basically outed everything that was going on at the club behind the scenes and how this club is run. And I don't think United hierarchy would have wanted someone like him to come in because he would have just tore it up behind the scenes and made them look like what they really are, which is, well, we all know how United are run, and Conte doesn't fit in how the bankers want our club to be run.
That's what Mourinho did, though, wasn't it, mate?
And that's why he went.
Exposed it.
Everyone,
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Shut up, Siri. What's that?
Oscar talking, and we're like, what's that?
Yeah, talking about United, don't like it. No, Mourinho was the only one who kicked off against the owners, and he went. Everyone else who goes along. I mean, we had a banner up for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after he'd left. Thank you, Ole, for failing. I mean, that's the type of club we are at the moment. It is what it is.
I love that. I love that banner.
I know everyone apart from United loved that banner. It was just like, oh my God, I'm going to get so much shit for this now when it goes out from everyone else. But you're dead right, mate. Jose was the one that spoke out. See you later. Out he went. Simple as that. You say anything against the owners at Man United and you're gone. Because we all know how much time everyone gets at United. You get time. Look what Ollie did because he didn't say anything. He kept giving the world. I've never known anyone get as much money. I think he averaged about 130, 140 million a window while he was there in money. And look how far he took us. Yeah. He was given the best that there is and completely failed. And they still wanted to keep him. So
it's so funny, because we talk about it, and I know Corey's picked up, and I know we're sort of going on to Man United, but Corey's mentioned before how a lot of Man United fans say, yeah, but he brought the fun back and he brought the football back and everyone was happy in that, but then it came at a price, like you say, of like on average 140 million a window. Do you know what I mean? So it's
well, we were just saying then on United Stand there, it's like usually the Glazers would spend money when we don't get in the Champions League, and I was like, well, yeah, they spend the money, but the structure isn't there. Spending money of, 150 million, that got us Dan James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. One's a failing captain who we want out the door. One's already gone to you boys at Leeds. And Wan-Bissaka is just gone into the wilderness. He's getting nowhere near the team. That's how we spend money. It's complete waste. You could have utilised that better with a better structure. But that's it. And now we're clinging on, playing these players because we want to look like we haven't made a mistake, and that's what it looks like to a lot of United fans.
Yeah, it's been. I can't lie, mate.
Stop laughing.
Enjoyable. It's been very, very enjoyable for Leeds United fans. Trust me, and I think probably for 95% of the Premier League, especially ones of my age, anyway. You know what I mean? Growing up in the 90s and seeing you guys win it all, it's like it's been. Yeah. Been quite refreshing. It's been quite refreshing. But yeah, Corey, just on Spurs before we will do Man United Leeds in some more detail. You must be buzzing, mate. Obviously we were talking about the top four. I know they're one of your rivals. You must be bouncing.
Yeah. Games in Hand FC didn't win the games in hand, and now they're where they're at. You got to get points on the table. Listen, I'm not really in a position to gloat too much now because it seems a little bit sporadic in terms of the results, but. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, and I'll give Matt his dues, he did say, and I've spoken to other Spurs fans, they did say that they don't believe that squad of players is good enough. And I was the one that said Conte is good enough to throw him into a position where they've got no right to be in because United are slipping up. But you look at the nature of the goals that they're conceding, it's too much for it. It's too much for Conte to deal with. The only criticism I'd say of Conte, if you're looking at it from the outside in, is I'm not sure why he hasn't played 3-5-2 more just to get control in the midfield, because it just feels like tactically that's what teams are going to do against him. And to be honest, if he doesn't play a 3-man midfield or a 5-man midfield against Man City, he's absolutely nuts, because that could get quite nasty. So that's probably the only criticism that you can level at him. But in truth, let's be honest, that Spurs board had to back him more. They did. And Tottenham, when you look at their team, they got no right to really be in that top 4. However, this season, same with West Ham, Arsenal, Spurs, if you just take a gamble, and they probably had the biggest banker in the fact they had Antonio Conte, they could have made that jump. But I'm not sure now that they're going to do it, because I didn't realise how bad their players were. I genuinely didn't. I thought that you could mask it, but you kind of... Even Lloris, who was supposed to be very, very good this season, is making clangers. So.
Yeah, supposed to be. This is what Matt said.
One
goalkeeper of the season so far, man.
Lloris does this 1 or 2 times a season, but he's the reason that we were even in the top 4 in the first place. You know, if it wasn't for him under Nuno.
Why didn't he catch that ball?
He doesn't know why he didn't catch that ball.
If you find out, Joe, let me know, because I haven't a clue. But he does that every now and then. I mean, every keeper does. David De Gea did it for a while. You know, every good keeper has these moments in them. Ederson, Alisson, they all do it. Lloris just maybe a bit more frequently than others, but
not really at the level of the others. But yeah,
no, he's not at that level. But like the best keepers in the Prem. But
one thing I'll say is just lastly is Tottenham do spend money. Their recruitment is horrific. It's so bad. Like when you actually look at their windows, I was chatting with Toby the other day, and we actually looked at the players that they've bought. They spend money. They back the manager. It's just the fact that either the manager's been the wrong person, and now the squad is looking even worse, and they're struggling to get rid of who's already there. So it's question marks. If you're not bored out, or you're not looking at that Spurs board and you're a Spurs fan, you've got to be asking yourself some questions, because it is troubling if you're them and you've gone from being in the Champions League final to struggling to not even get in Europe really last season. I
think it's key to differentiate there between Tottenham spending money and backing the manager, because we do spend money, but it's always on the second choice or the third choice or the fourth choice. I mean, we were so close to signing Bruno Fernandes 6 months before United did. We ended up with Giovanni Lo Celso, who's now out on loan in Sevilla. You know, over the transfer window, the last window, we wanted, so many different targets we were going for. They fell through. Another target fell through. We ended up with Emerson Royal on deadline day, who Barcelona are still laughing at us for spending 30 million on. I think a lot of the money we spend is to save face, having missed out on big targets. And the only window I can safely 100% say a manager was backed was that last window under Pochettino, when we got Ndombele, Lo Celso, Sessegnon, and Jack Clark, and that in that moment is a sign of how bad our recruitment is at times.
You can't tell me Ndombele is not a good footballer. They just get
no. I would never try and do that.
Players in, and you just completely mismanage them.
With Ndombele, I don't think it's a case of mismanagement. He just happens to be a player that needs everything exactly as he wants it.
No, but you can't play Ndombele in like a midfield 2, as Corby mentioned before, and expecting he's going to do defensive work. It's just not his game.
But he was never playing in that position. Even under Jose Mourinho, when we were parking the bus, he was the man right up at the top of the pitch with Harry Kane. We sat into a defensive 4-4-2. He was the man up there with Harry Kane at the top end of the pitch. You know, we've never put Ndombele in
under Mourinho.
You which?
He probably played his best football under Mourinho, though.
Yeah, but the best football that he played at Tottenham is nowhere near the level that he can reach, and it's nowhere near a level that you're going to pay 65 million for. And also, he could only do it for 65 minutes a game, and then he wouldn't do it again for 2 months. You know, I've always said about him, he is one of the most technically gifted players I've ever seen in a Tottenham jersey, but his attitude absolutely.
Shopping's a few players there that, you know what, under different managers, you probably get more out of. That coaches, you probably get more out of.
But that is probably true. And maybe different managers, if Pochettino had stayed, maybe there's a better chance for Ndombele. But if they're not the right player for the club at that time, they're not the right player. Full stop. And like I'd even say it if, let's say we end up 8th, 9th, 10th under Conte 2 seasons in a row, I wouldn't question that he's an incredible manager, but he's not the right manager for what we need, if that makes sense. You know, and Ndombele just isn't what the club needs right now. And it's good that we got him off. And if Leon trigger that buy option, that is the best piece of business Tottenham have ever done, getting 60 million back for him. Crazy stuff, but yeah, Spurs, eh?
Yeah. I think we're all expecting City to sort of steamroll you at the weekend, but you never know. No, you never know. Let's talk about Manchester United Leeds then. It's a huge fixture for me and Oscar, one that I've been waiting for a very, very long time. The atmosphere is going to be It's going to be electric. Adam, I just want to know, first of all, from a Manchester United fan's perspective, is it as big of a tie for you as what it is for us?
I'm like you, mate. I was brought up with the Leeds United, Man United rivalry. So you've got the Galactico game. That's Liverpool against Man United. That's your worldwide one. A derby's a derby. Everyone's got a derby, but no one's got a rivalry like Man United and Leeds have. We're talking Pennine Divide, White Rose, Red Rose. It's more than just a football match. And I know what reception United fans are going to get when we come round there. Like you said, then even last season we couldn't get the fans in, and there was one game the Premier League needed fans at. It's Leeds against United. This is and has been, when the Premier League started, the biggest rivalry in the Premier League, in my opinion. And people will say, yeah, through the years, Arsenal's rival with United, then obviously the Newcastle era and stuff like that. But Leeds against United has always been the biggest game. Going back to, what was it? It was 91-92 when Leeds pipped us to the old Championship before we went to the Premier League. I still remember that. I still remember Cantona coming in at Leeds. I still remember the season after Cantona doing an overhead kick at Old Trafford for Leeds and going, wow, who is this? Next thing you know, he's at our club and completely changing Manchester United's history. There's so many little subplots with Leeds United and Manchester United. For me, it was always the biggest game. I grew up watching them games. I grew up watching, I seen the Keane incident. Do you know what I mean? I've seen Cantona cupping his ears in front of the Leeds fans at Ellen Road. I've seen everything. And it is the biggest game for Manchester United fans. And it's a reason why I'm not going. This weekend, because I won't pay over half the price of a season ticket to go and watch this game. It's the highest price ticket I've ever had to look at for a Premier League game while I've been watching football. That's Leeds against Manchester United. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm not going to pay 400 quid to go and watch this Man United team. Sorry, I draw the line at that. You could get a season ticket somewhere for that price. This team doesn't.
Yeah, I only pay like $4.80 for mine at the minute.
Exactly, mate. United away fans some will pay 400 quid to go to Ellen Road on Sunday. That's the price that's going at the moment to get there. It is ridiculous, and that's how you know how big this game is. United fans have been waiting for this for a long time, mate, and you will not get a ticket for this game. That's how big it is. So to answer that question, mate, yeah, this is as big to United fans as it is to Leeds fans, and it is going to be the best atmosphere you will get in any Premier League game this season, without a doubt.
I do massively agree with that. It's going to be quite the cauldron. I feel. I know that I can't wait for it. I just hope I don't see Ronaldo doing his swee over in either side. Like, it's not going to end well, I don't think. But Oscar, from your end, mate, like it's massive, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. I remember as a kid, FA Cup third round, Jermaine Beckford. It'll still be my. I think the only thing that beats that is Pablo at Swansea to get us into the Premier League and Beckford to get us out of League One. That's the only thing that beats that for me, just purely for how big it was for them seasons. But in terms of moments, being at Old Trafford that day when we won as a League One team, where I think you were European champions at the time, or you might have been 18 months before, whatever it was, it was a pretty unbelievable achievement. And you know what? It just hammers home. That's one of two games I've been to between United and Leeds. The other one was obviously League Cup. I think Owen scored twice in that lot, but again, it's a League Cup. It wasn't really the same kind of occasion. But we know what it's going to be. It's going to be a feisty game. It's going to be hostile from minute one. And yeah, it's going to be a real interesting one. Obviously, they're always great games. You know, if it's Ferguson versus O'Leary.
They haven't been for us. They haven't been recently, mate. Bloody hell. Well, this is like 11-2 or something, I think.
No, there's going to be goals on Sunday. There's going to be goals, what I'm saying. I think it will be a good game. I think Man United's going to Welling Road. I think it's a completely different kettle of fish to Leeds going to Old Trafford. Man United's playing at home at Old Trafford against Leeds. I just think it's a totally different atmosphere. I was listening to Gary Neville the other day in terms of talking about going to places like Anfield and Ellen Road, and it's just a totally different occasion in that kind of sense. And I do think, Adam might disagree with me, but I do look at 1 or 2 Man United players who will get to Ellen Road on Sunday and will be intimidated from minute one and won't ever played in an atmosphere like that.
No, I disagree, mate. It'll be 11 of them. That's what it'll be.
Ronaldo, to be fair, I'll give you Ronaldo. He's probably played in a few.
Yeah, but not one of these players has played in a rivalry and an atmosphere like that against Leeds. Not one of them. And we've got some cupcakes in our team at the moment. I'll say that. We have definitely got some weak players, weak mentality players. And you're right. You're dead right. That atmosphere, they're going to have to handle it. It'll be something that they've not handled before. The hostility and how close the fans are to the players. It will be. We're going to need players to stand up. And at the moment, looking at it, the unrest and everything that's gone on tonight and everything that's happening with our club, it's hard to see it unless they come together after what's happened and stand up and be counted. If we match your effort and your drive, we'll win the game. That's how I see it. But it's, can you get past that bit that you just said then? That is key. That 12th man for Leeds could actually win you guys the game. That's how important it is.
Yeah. Do you know what, as well, Adam, I was thinking, and we said before, for me, and it might sound mad, like, I'm more confident going up against Rangnick than I am Ollie. And Ollie's, like, worse of the two, if that makes sense. I just think because Ollie,
I know
like
why.
Oscar said, what was it? Oscar said, like, Ollie's just pure vibes. Like, go out there and beat your man. It'll be totally fine. Whereas Rangnick will have a sort of tactical approach to it, which might better suit Bielsa and Leeds United over just Ollie saying just counter-attack them to death and you'll just beat these. And it proved to be the case. So I could argue we probably have more of a chance than we've had in the Premier League recently anyway.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, Ollie had a better record against Pep. It's ridiculous. You couldn't write it. You really couldn't. It's like you just turn it up against Pep. I've seen him absolutely school Pep, and I'd be scratching my head going, I don't understand this game. He just can't figure it out. And you're right. In terms of tactics, Ollie wouldn't have had a tactic. And that's where Bielsa can't figure him out because Ollie don't know what he's doing. The players don't know what they're doing. And that's how we ended up winning them big games because no one could figure us out. And we have got a team of individual winners that can win a game any given day. And that's the thing with United. If one of them or two of them players turn up, then you know you could just be battered all game and all of a sudden we just win it. There's no tactics there. But you're right, Rangnick will have a plan. And I think that's the problem that the players have been struggling with. 3 years with Ole, with no plan. And Rangnick's come in and upset the apple cart. And that's why we're seeing the performances we're getting right now because he is a tactician. He wants them to do certain things, work harder. And this lot are struggling to deal with it. And his record isn't that bad. I think he's had 7 wins, I think now 4 draws and 1 loss. It's not the worst record in the world, but everyone knows the football's not been great.
Yeah, no, for sure. Corey, from a neutral perspective, how do you see it going? Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was speaking to my friend earlier on, he's a Manchester United fan, and he thinks it'll be a draw. And I said to him, and I know it's at home, and Leeds fans might not disagree, but I'd take a point. I can't lie because I am really nervous for the game. But as a neutral, mate, like, how do you see it unfolding?
It's a weird one with Leeds because it depends what team turns up. I think we mentioned about the atmosphere, the intensity of it, and I've seen you before. If you can get your intensity and your pressing spot on, there's so many Manchester United players that you can hurt. There's so many Manchester United players in deep line midfield areas that aren't good enough at keeping the ball. There's a centre-back in Maguire that if he plays, if you get movement in behind him, he's not going to cope either. But it depends. There is a genuine opportunity. I think a point for Leeds would be fantastic. But the margin, if you can get it right, the mentality right, the energy right, I think you cause United big problems, genuinely. And it depends how they can cope with it. Or if Rangnick decides, do you know what? I am going to go to a counter-attacking style. I don't think he will, because principally, I think there's a lot more going on at Man United in terms of long-term and what he wants to implement. That's the only way I see them open you up. But I think you've got a real chance in this game, genuinely. But you've got to turn up. You have to turn up.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that team isn't going to turn up with what's on the game. So, yeah, we'll see.
I don't think they'll be allowed not to. Does that make sense? Like, the atmosphere is going to be so palpable. Like I was saying before.
This is the thing. Sorry, mate. But this is the thing when you played us, you mentioned about the chaos of it, and we were slightly off it, and you were so intense and up for the game, we couldn't deal with that. And I think you look at Manchester, and we're well schooled and drilled. We know our roles. You look at Manchester United; they're still trying to learn, and there are players in there that, if it's just consistent pressing for 90 minutes, they're going to go, hang on a minute, I don't know if I can cope with this, and there's going to be an error in there. So the cards are in your favour, if that makes sense. You've just got to go out there and play your game, and you get chances. Got to be clinical as well, man. Dan James can't shoot straight at the
keeper. This is the thing, I was just going to move it on. Like, Matt, is it written that Dan James scores the winner against Manchester United? It'd be a real turn up for the Bucks. I'd love to see him just doing this, man. I can't lie. I mean, like, yes, Dan! I mean, don't get me wrong, I question his finishing, and but if he finishes against Manchester United, it'll all be done, man. It doesn't matter.
the main reason...
Cock up, to be honest. They're out just go straight through De Gea.
Yeah, exactly. Slices it into top corner.
Look, the main reason why I'd say it's not written in the stars that Dan James scores the winner is because that involves Leeds winning. And I really just can't see that happening. I think, of course, this is a game where you need to be up for the occasion, but it just feels like one with the way the season has been going for Leeds. It's been up and down, and it just feels like one where you might get carried away with it a little bit. And you need to find that balance between the two, like actually getting up for the game and not getting carried away. And I mean, Leeds are going to get it. It just seems like that game where Leeds are going to get a man sent off, or they're going to pick up a lot of yellow cards and kind of have to take a step back, which would allow then United to go into the game. It's going to be an interesting game, and like Oscar said, there is going to be goals, and it's probably going to be one of the best games to watch for a neutral fan this season, as much as it is going to be for Leeds and Manchester United fans. But I mean, look, I like Leeds. I like Leeds. I definitely
doesn't sound like it, mate. Right now, I'm not going to lie.
Did it sound like I like Tottenham 30 minutes ago?
I was thinking in my head as you were talking, I'm just going to say in a minute, well, you're not getting top four, so no. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I think this is going to be a very tough one for Leeds on more than one front, and I just see United coming out of this with a victory, which is strange to say because of how poor United has been. Like I think Oscar mentioned there, a win against Brighton doesn't mean much, and I know United was a 4-1 all draws in a row. If it hadn't been an interim manager, I think that there would be talk of the manager being sacked. It would be premature, but that's just the way football is at the moment. If it wasn't Ralph Rangnick, if he wasn't got up into the board at the end of the season, I think that's a conversation we will be having right now. But I just think United have done so well against Leeds in the Premier League since he came back up. I know fans coming back will make a little bit of a difference, but yeah, my money's on United for this one.
Yeah, no, listen, it is what it is. I think the mad thing is...
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no worries, Oscar. No worries. Enjoy, mate. Enjoy.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Nice one. I was saying, I think for me, arguably, I'm glad that Man United got that win against Brighton and Ronaldo scored, because I had this horrible vision in my head that they were going to come into the game, not winning any games and then absolutely blast us, and obviously Ronaldo get a couple of goals, but thankfully they got that win. Just before we move on and finish up on just what's going on Leicester, Adam, what's going on with Ronaldo? Like, he was supposed to come in, and I've seen a lot of Man United fans, we're going to win the league, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He's come in, he's not really done much. Does he go in this at the end of the season? What's going off, mate?
I mean, you look at it, finishing second last season and buying Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho, you'd expect to push on. And that was the whole talk about United actually taking it to their next level under Ole. We beat Leeds 5-1, sorry to mention it, mate, on the opening day. Everything looks all rosy. And then you get into the nitty-gritty of it, and the carnage that Ronaldo brought with him, which was just the fact that his standards are different to what was there. You know what I mean? These players would be happy with finishing top four, and that's the mentality they've set. Ronaldo's come in, and tonight we've heard the news that there is emergency, but there's like a meeting going on, like a team meeting, because Maguire's kicked up a stink about his authority being questioned, and United fans have got a big issue with Harry Maguire at the moment, a massive issue. The fact that he's the captain. We're now looking at Ronaldo. I would not be surprised if Ronaldo walked onto that Ellen Road turf at weekend, going off the stories that are coming out, as captain of Manchester United. That's what's breaking tonight. That's what we're being told and what we're talking about. There's a few players there, a few cliques within the club. I mean, Harry Maguire didn't go over and celebrate Ronaldo's goal. the other night against Brighton.
I've seen that on your Twitter, actually. I've seen that.
He's the captain of this football team, and he knows how important that goal was because Brighton were battering us. We were crap again. And that goal was important for everyone because it turned the game around. And if you're a captain, you're not going over. So the fans are automatically thinking something is wrong. We don't like Maguire in the way he's playing. We don't think he belongs in the starting lineup. And we think he's there because he's the captain. Ollie gave him the captain's there wrongly. And right now, Ronaldo is the one that looks like he's kicked up the stink. And United fans are probably, a lot of them are going to go along with that because they know the standards have dropped over the recent years. And he's come back in. He's not happy. I mean, he's had an average season. He's just got the 16 goals this season. I mean, it's not totally horrendous. But you wouldn't believe that he has got 16.
Yeah, that's mad when you say that. Yeah,
that's how many he's got. If he had the second half of the season like he has that poor first half, and he's going away with a stingy 30+ goals again, it's madness.
Yeah,
it is. But literally, without him, we'd be out of the Champions League. He's leading goal scorer in the Champions League. He scored in every single game he's played in, and honestly, we'd probably be mid-table without his goals that he's got this season as well in the league. So he has been important, but the problem we've had is it's like everyone has sort of let him do his, and the sole responsibility has gone down on Ronaldo. And when Ronaldo can't play his game, which isn't, it's more frequent now because of his age, and we all know at 37 you're not going to be able to do the things you did at 20-odd. The rest of the team don't stand up. They're not standing up and being counted. So Ronaldo, you could say, has been a problem a little bit, but ultimately he has kicked up the stink that we all wanted kicking up. I think there's a reason Ollie got sacked because Ollie was doing okay until Ronaldo came in. He wasn't part of the plan. He literally came in because City were going to buy him. And that's the reason Ronaldo's at Man United now. Mendes played an absolute blinder in the summer. And United fans are all happy to have him back, obviously. But we know the bigger issues at the football club right now. And you've got to sort of work the team around Ronaldo. And if you don't, it just makes him look bad. If you don't play to his strengths, it's pointless in being there. I think this is the stink behind the scenes right now that we're hearing this week, that some players are not happy that they've... Ronaldo's
has Rashford been leaking stories and that as well, I've seen?
Yeah, I mean, Christian Fox broke that one about Rashford being part of the clique that's not happy. And Rashford's performances recently have been absolutely appalling.
Yeah.
His body language is off. And United fans have picked up on that as well, and they're not getting away with it anymore. Ronaldo's come in, and we've seen the interview he did a few weeks ago when he was calling out a lot of the players. If they want my help, I'm here to help them. But if they don't, then put up or shut up, basically. And now we're seeing the second stage of that, and it's actually kicking off even more behind the scenes now. So what will come of this week, I do not know, mate, but it needs to be sorted before we walk out at Ellen Road anyway. But I don't think Ronaldo's a massive problem. It's the structure above, really, and the other players that have been getting away with murder for so long that is the bigger issue.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Do you see, because we talk about it a lot, do you see Manchester United actually biting the bullet and getting rid of Maguire? Or because I think it was Corey agreed with me as well, like it's a massive outlay for him and to make him captain. Will they actually say, do you know what? We made a mistake. Let's get rid. Do you envisage that happening at any point?
Not with this board, no. I really don't. I think we're stuck with him. If they take the captaincy off him, what that will do to him mentally, because he's coming out with words now saying he's been marginalised within the dressing room and stuff. And I'm thinking, geez, if we take the captaincy off him, are we going to end up destroying him here? What's your mentality like? Can you handle it? I mean, anyone who lost the captaincy to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, you would usually say, well, fair enough. But Maguire and a lot of these players think they're bigger than what they are, and that's the problem we've got at the club right now. It doesn't look like the manager's got much of a say on things. We've seen what happened with Lingard on transfer deadline day. I mean, it's a farce right now. It is, and because he's interim manager, some of them are reportedly not listening. I can't see us getting rid of Maguire, though, mate. It is one of them. I don't think they would stand up and say, like you said, then we got it wrong. Unless someone came in with a stupid bid, but who is going to spend even half of that value on Harry Maguire? No one is, are they?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Gives a score prediction anyway, Adam, for the game on Sunday.
I'm gonna go 3-2 United. I do believe there will be goals in this game. Yeah. I think both defenses are crap. If Varane plays, we've got a better chance. If Varane isn't fit, we're in trouble, big trouble, because Varane will be able to handle that occasion. I've not got an issue with Varane. He's like a Rolls Royce. He's one of the best defenders I've ever watched in the United shirt. He's ridiculous. I didn't realise how good he was until I watched him up close. If he's not fit, oh God, God help us. But yeah, I do actually see the crowd making this a goals game because they will demand. Yeah, they will demand Leeds to push on, and if they do push on, I think it will slightly play into United's hands a bit more. So I think that's where I see goal. I see both teams scoring. It could be 2-2, 3-2 either way. It could be just one of them games, mate. I think we'll get our entertainment value anyway.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll take 2-2 as well. Matt, here's a score prediction.
I've got 3-1 United. Man United, that is.
You're a knob. You're a knob.
Get me on here just to admit. Yeah, okay.
I'm joking.
I'm not getting drawn into this again. You're worse than Oscar sometimes. Show that.
No, but I can say it with a smile and a laugh, and it takes it away a little bit. Corey.
2-2, but I would love us if you could just do us a favour and beat them, please. Even take points off them, mate. Like anything at this point would be nice. So I think 2-2's fair. Yeah,
fair. Will you get top 4 anyway, Adam? I didn't ask. I forgot to ask.
I think we might get it by default because of the way everyone else is. That's not through us being brilliant. I think just because West Ham probably end up, the season might catch up with them. Not buying anyone in January, I think, will hamper West Ham. The strength in depth. Saying that, we lost half our squad in January, so we haven't got much thing either in terms of depth. But Martial scoring for Seville tonight, sort of a bit of a kick in the sack as well. But yeah, do you know what? I think we will make top 4. I do. It's weird how I feel about it, but like I said, it's just the way we're playing and how we're there now. I do not know.
Yeah,
I can't understand how we're there.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's just finish up. I just want to get your opinion. We've got a couple of minutes left. Obviously, we had Locks, who's a Leicester City fan who used to be on this regularly, still in the group chat, updates us constantly that Brendan Rodgers is for the boot, wants him gone. They play Wolves at the weekend. We were talking about Wolves maybe being an outside chance on Monday for the top 4. Who wants to say they can't make it? I mean, it'd be big, don't get me wrong, but they're going really good at the minute. Do we think Corey, Wolves win at the weekend? Will he get the boot, do you think?
I think if we'd beaten him, he'd be gone by now.
Yeah. We said that, though, right?
Which actually probably isn't a great thing, because if they get a kick and they get Graham Potter in, then they've got a good enough squad to kind of push. But I think that will... It's a weird one, because I only think it will do it because of how it's gone and see the turmoil within the squad. And when it gets like that, and Rodgers, you hear, demanding X amount in the window and he's not getting it, then 9 times out of 10, they push the manager just to galvanise the players. But normally I would think... You just stick with him to the end of the year. Try and go as far as you can in the Conference League. Stay where you're at. It's a bad year. It is what it is. And then see what he can do. And that's purely because you look at the quality of managers out there. There isn't really too much to pick from. With all due respect to Leicester, who they've got a fantastic squad, I don't think they, even now, even with the FA Cup and the Prem in the past couple of years, they can command. So I think he goes anyway. But that's just the nature of football. They've got to get more out of those players. And the way they're partying at 5 a.m. after losing to 4-1 is... And they've done that historically as well. So
yeah.
I think
Maddison's known for doing it, innit? He cost him his place at England and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
He's such a good player as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they won 4-1 tonight. In the Conference League. So I don't know. I like you say, it's Mickey Mouse, innit? It's Mickey Mouse, that competition, really, for them. I mean, I'd take it. I seen you look up, Corey. I mean, I'd take it. I can't lie. I would.
Even I'll take it next year. Do you know what I mean? I'll go,
exactly.
Just go in there and we'll do our thing and go on a European tour. It's mad, isn't it? But you are right,
I would take it. But for Leicester, like the Champions League and all that sort of stuff, it's not the best. So, Matt, do you see him getting the boot at all? Is it time for Brendan? I think it's a mad one. Yeah. Like, where will he go? He's decent, right?
He is a decent manager, but he's never been able to get over that final hurdle. And he couldn't do it at Liverpool with that not like world class, but like better than the usual squad that he had. 2 years in a row now at Leicester, where he's been in that top four up until the last couple of days of the season. Two were, to be honest, I thought they were shoe-ins for that, but at the moment they're 11th in the table. It's like 14 points off Champions League. That needs to be their benchmark. That needs to be what they're aiming to do, because they're a club who recruits very well. Not most of the time. You can obviously exclude the summer from that for some part. They need to be progressing, and the only natural progression for them from here is getting Champions League, and they have gotten further away from that. The one thing that may be preventing them from pulling the trigger, I think, is the same reason why United held on to Oli for so long, and why Spurs ended up with Nuno, is because the options aren't really out there at the moment. Maybe there are some options that are a higher level than Leicester, but in terms of a manager they can actually begin, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying this Graham Potter hype train. He's a very, very good manager, but the whole idea of every club who loses their manager, the first port of call is, will Graham Potter take the job?
He's the new Alan Kirbishley.
My point. Yeah, I don't think it's as simple as lure Potter away from Brighton and all their problems are solved. I don't think it's that simple. But yeah,
do you know what it is with Potter though? I do really rate him, mate. To be honest, I do really rate him.
Oh, he's a great manager, yeah, but he's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he will, but he's very smart though, Potter, as well, because a lot of other managers in his position would have already jumped ship, and he's waiting for the right opportunity. It would seem, because every time he's linked, it's like, nah, don't want to know. And I think I don't know whether he's
Leicester will be a good opportunity though. That's the
yeah.
If you look at the parallels and how they're run, good recruitment, good owner. The technical aspect of it, they're a club on the up. I just think with Potter, it's a case of having players there that are like, he finds diamonds, and you see even with Moda at the minute, he's performing, he's playing at a level, but they just don't have the finishers. I just think with someone like Leicester, where you've got Daka, Vardy, Iheanacho, I would just personally be interested to see, and I think he can make the step up, definitely.
Well, I told you last week on Monday, I was listening to Talk Sport, and they were talking about Ralph Hasenhüttl as a potential at Manchester United, and I'd argue that Potter would be, in terms of managers, streets ahead of Hasenhüttl. But do you know what I mean? I think people
could be a poison chalice for an up and coming manager at our place at the moment, because the players don't respect anyone, and until that's sorted out, it's like I said, with the young players coming through, I don't want them to come through right now, and there's some talent there. It's not fair on them. Because the team is just a mess at the moment. It's not the right time.
No. Would you take Rodgers? You were linked to Rodgers for a period of time, right?
God, we were shitting ourselves. I'll be honest, mate. When that story came out, ex-Liverpool manager does not happen at United. I think that loss to rivals Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup would have turned a lot of Leicester fans. That would have been hard to take for them, and I think. With everything else that's happened, I think the only reason is that I think he has got a really good relationship with the history and what happened with the owner and the helicopter crash, and in being around at that time with the family and the connection that Rodgers has got there. I think he's a big part of that club, and I think it will be hard for Leicester to get rid of him. But the fall off again, mid-table for that team, it's a drastic drop off, and they're like sort of seasons that you can't ignore in terms of. Should we really question this manager? You have to for that. That's too far. It is too far, and I think them still being in that European conference tin pot, whatever it is, I don't even know. I mean, if he wins that, then you could say he's won 2 trophies in 2 seasons, and there's the argument against it, innit? It's hard, isn't it?
It is. It's quite. To be honest, I've learned something about the Leicester fans. Like they don't. For me, I kept saying we had him on here and they've won an FA Cup and all that and the Premier League, and was like, you're Leicester City, you should be happy with that. That's amazing. I would love to win an FA Cup within my lifetime. Do you know what I mean? But it's like they are quite an unforgiving fan base. There is quite a large section of them want Rodgers gone, and it's really surprising. But we'll have to wait and see what happens this weekend. But like I said, there is plenty of football to feast your eyes on this weekend. Obviously, West Ham Newcastle should be a good game. Liverpool playing Norwich. You've got Man City Spurs, and then of course the big one at the weekend, Leicester versus Wolves. No, I'm joking. Leeds versus Manchester United. I can't wait for it, honestly. So, make sure you keep it locked at the Just Joe Football Show. Make sure you join me after that game as well, and we'll do a post match where hopefully Leeds United have won. And then you can head on over to Adam's Adam Match TV, or you can check him out at the United Stand and see his salty tears after Dan James has scored in the 95th minute.
Oh, God, he better not. I swear to God, my life won't be worth living if he scores.
It would be amazing. And, of course, make sure you check out Corey and Matt at their respective channels as well. Corey and the West Ham Way, Matt at the Matt Hayes Tottenham blog. But thank you for watching. I know it's a lot later than normal, but thanks all for being here. And, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow, I think, with Thank Football. It's Friday, me and Gaz. Anyway, we'll leave it there.